I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. All right. If I could get a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? I will add that we will have one additional presentation to the board other than what's on the agenda, and Chris Todd, the city BOCES superintendent, is coming to talk to us a little bit. So with that adjustment, could I get all those in favor? Okay. Pearl, is there any blue cards? Okay. There's no blue cards, so we'll dispense with the community open forum. Moving on to item D, special presentations to the board. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Calabufo to present some plaques to outgoing board members.
We have two board members that will be leaving the board. One of them, she was not able to make it. As you know, Chance Nickerson has been on the board for quite some time. She works double shifts at the hospital. She is a nurse, and unfortunately, she's not able to make it here today, but she absolutely wanted me to thank all the board members, thank any staff members, thank the community. It was a great experience for her as she has her growing family at home. She was always great to still be here and still be a voice for the community. So we want to wish Chance Nickerson all the best. We want to thank her for her years of service. So now if I can have the board members come up, and we'll make kind of a horseshoe. So, over the years, several years now, we've had a student board representative. I know there's just been a law passed, and I believe it's going to soon be a requirement for all school districts to have a student board representative. And here at Central Square, we think that that's excellent. It was actually the Board of Education that had come up with this idea several years ago, and they just wanted to have another opportunity. They wanted to have a leadership opportunity for our students, but also an opportunity for all of our students to have a voice that they could go to, because we're always trying to improve. We believe in continuous improvement, but we also understand that sometimes it's easier for a student to talk to their peers when they have ideas about things, about strengthening different pathways, which we have. So Sophia Sherman was one of several students last year that were all going for this position. And there were some phenomenal candidates. It was pretty unanimous. Sophia just blew everybody away. And we have many board members. We just did interviews for next year, and there were two phenomenal students. Made it very difficult to make that decision. Sophia made it really easy for us because I've been around students working in education for 27 years, and Sophia is not like the typical student. Sophia not only has a great support group with her friends, but she made it a point to always get out and to connect with students from different backgrounds, from different parts of the district. And if you've ever come to a board meeting, you would hear her. And the great thing about what Sophia's always done, she's always recognizing students, whether it's in band or whether it's in sports or whether it's in DECA or whether any of the clubs that we have. So she's been a great voice, not only for the students in ways that we can improve, but also a great cheerleader, if you will, for all of the students in the building that have accomplished wonderful things. So with that, we want to thank Sophia Sherman for her year of service on the board, and we want to give you a plaque so you can come up and shake our hands. right now. We're actually going to have Kira Carinzi come up first for the retirees from Hastings Valley Elementary. Kira? Just press the button.
Well, good evening. It is with great respect that we recognize Tammy Grover on her retirement after 27.3 years of dedicated service at Hastings Mallory Elementary and Central Square School District. Throughout her career, Tammy showed unwavering commitment to her students and their success. Tammy's contributions went beyond the classroom. She played a key role in all of our summer reading programs, Summer Success, and Reading and Math Camp, helping countless students grow. Tammy also dedicated her time to tutoring, ensuring students to receive the extra help they needed. She stayed after school for Runners Club and Coding Club, encouraging physical fitness and the love of technology. As of recent, she was the Check and Connect coordinator, where she helped build strong connections between students and staff, creating a supportive school community. Her positive influences and dedication have made a lasting impact on our school. Now, as Tammy enjoys her well-deserved retirement in Florida with her husband, where she is right now, we celebrate her outstanding career and the mark that she left on all of our hearts. We wish her all the happiness and relaxation in this new chapter of her life. Thank you, Tammy, for your dedication and service.
Mike Smolnick absolutely wanted to be here. He could not be here tonight, so I will be representing Mike and A.A. Cole. So I have some words from Michael Smolnick regarding James Collette. Jim Collette served the Central Square School District for 22 years as a physical education teacher. In addition to teaching, Jim coached various sports for the district. Jim is the consummate team player, and he's willing to do whatever is needed to help out. In addition to planning daily lessons, Jim has organized annual winter fun days and spring play days for various schools he served. Additionally, the Big Shoe Award was started by Jim. The award stresses preparedness for phys ed and gets the students excited to come to class. We thank Jim for his many years of service to the district, and we wish him all of the best in retirement. Jim Collette. And now I'd like to introduce Brent Bowden, the principal at Brewerton Elementary, to announce the retirees from Brewerton Elementary. Oh, sorry, Brent.
Okay, so I have three. Jackie Harrington had a something come up at the last minute. She couldn't make it, but I did want to mention Jackie Harrington, 23.7 years of service as a teaching assistant here, and a teaching assistant union leader in the building. Leadership and absolute love for kids, and a hugely dedicated TA. I'm going to miss her. So Jackie Harrington, congratulations for your retirement. Deb, come on up. Deb Ostrowski, she's our school psychologist. She's been here in the district for 28.9 years. Couldn't make it to 29, huh? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Blame it on the kid. Deb is an absolute integral part of the team, and you know the inner circle, I call it, with the psych, the social worker, all the SEL guys, and She dots every T, crosses every I. And if you need some reports written, she's the one that gets it done, and she gets it done on time. She gets it done right. I never have to worry about that. She pitches in when needed, and I'm going to miss you. I'm really going to miss you. So congratulations, Deb. Cindy Hayden. Come on down. Yes. Okay. Cindy Hayden, 25.2 years it says. I don't know if anybody knows the kind of stuff that Cindy's been through this year, but the fact that she missed so few days with her son dying and coming to work and being, just setting an example for how we go out with class. I'm so impressed with you. If I could have 20 of you, I would love it. So Cindy, congratulations on your retirement. Aaron Phillips, I think, is up next.
Okay. Why do I gotta hold the thing? We gotta hold it? Okay. I know she's here. There she is. So Linda Lamanna is a speech therapist that has been in the district for 26 years. And I have gotten to know Linda a little bit over the last 6 months, but I started out as a colleague of Linda's back when I started in the district back in 2000, and have worked closely with her. We've worked with same kids. She's been in there. We would pinpoint different errors that kids were making and do our speech thing. But she goes above and beyond every day for the kids at Millard Hawk and now at Millard Hawk and Cole. She was at Hastings also working with a variety of students. She works with some of the more challenging students. She brings them under her wing and they blossom and grow, and she gives them jobs, and man, do they rise to the occasion. So I've also learned that she makes one heck of a chicken salad. If any like chicken salad. She came in one day because she would notice I was not eating right, and she put a little thing down and she goes, Kristen N right now has some coming to her, so she has a career when she is done. She can bring me that once a week. I don't even care. But I know she's got plans after retirement for a job that she is starting, so congratulations on your retirement and good luck with everything in the future. And Mr. Penrod is going to speak on behalf of the middle school.
I was prepared to do the speeches for the retirees, but then Matt told me it wasn't a roast, so we're going to go with his notes instead.
Yes, that we thought would probably be best. We have changed some of the content once we found out how this worked. Kelly LeBlanc was not able to be with us tonight. She has been at the middle school for 28 and a half years. And there are some words in public that I would use to describe her, and they include direct and very forthcoming, and she wants it to be right for kids. Because of her directness, when she changed from being an ASL teacher and applied to become a special education teacher, she was concerned she would not be the chosen person because she's very direct. That is one of her strengths, and her tenaciousness on behalf of kids speaks very highly of her. And I would like to congratulate her, although she could not be here. I would like to recognize Brenda Metrick. Brenda, come on up. 37 years. Okay, 37 years. Brenda, if you do not know her, is someone who cares so much, she gets truly upset when something is not right. And she doesn't just get upset and complain about it or upset and whine about it or upset. She becomes upset, and her next thing is, okay, Matt, let's make a plan so we can get this right. She said that more than once to me over the years, oddly enough. So congratulations, Brenda, and welcome to your retirement. It is very, very deserved. Next, I'd like to welcome up Deb Pardee. Deb has been a part of the clerical unit in the district for 29.1 years. And when I think of Deb, I cannot help but think of planning of the 8th grade overnight trips, because that is a role that she had fulfilled when we did those. And the key word in there is planning, because Deb has always been about planning and organization. In 29.10 years, you see a lot of change, and Deb has been the consistency, not the change. Does her job professionally, does her job well, over time, doesn't change, and I already feel like I've lost half my brain because she's always the one who says, did you think about this? Do you remember to think about that? Because she's planning ahead all the time. So congratulations, Debbie, and you are already missed because she's been gone a little while. And at this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Dr. Heidi Sweeney and Jessica Hill from Paul V. Moore High School.
I wanted to start our evening for the high school people with noting that I had added up their years, and it totals 182.3 years of service and knowledge and caring. So thank you all for that to start with. Our first retiree, Ed Audley, he is a special guy. If you didn't know about it, he was also a truck driver in his earlier years, and I've had some great conversations with Ed. He is going to be missed greatly. He does such a nice job with math, especially with our students who really need a lot of support. I don't think Ed could join us this evening. I don't think I saw him sneak in, but we will miss him greatly. Mitchell, would you like to come up? Mitchell Brousseau is a school counselor with 27 years of service here in Central Square. And he and I are kind of early birds. We see each other in the halls first thing in the morning. We wave from either end of the hallway to each other, good morning. And we have great discussions about plans in retirement, cycling. He rides his bike to school a lot. He's healthy, as you can tell. And we'll miss you very much. You have leaving big shoes to fill in the counseling department. So thank you so much, Mitchell. And next we have Allison Casella. Allison is a special education teacher with us and has 30 years of time in. Allison has been just a godsend, especially when we have a student who presents some different challenges and has different needs. Allison is typically who we go to and ask, would you be, willing to have this student in your case management? Because you're just so kind and supportive, and we've appreciated that greatly. And I just wish you the best in your retirement. Fred Covert. Fred Covert is one of our science teachers and has 24 years of time in with us, and as a longtime science teacher, from one science teacher to another. You're crazy. The kids love you, and you're so supportive, and I know we've gone to you time and time again to say, well, could you help us out with this student or that student, and could they do something? And we're so appreciative of that, how patient you are with all of them. And we wish you the absolute best in your retirement. Thank you. Congratulations. Stacy Guerin is a teaching assistant. She wasn't able to join us this evening, but she has 20 years of experience and time here in Central Square, and she has just been a wonderful support to our students, especially in the recovery lab, and she supports students through summer school, which is tough, even on the best of days. So we're really just thankful for all of her time with our students. Mary Hart, you're up next. Mary's a teaching assistant and had 17 and a half years of time with the school district. And in her most recent years, she helped us out in the distance learning lab and took that on, really had to learn a lot and support students as they worked through earning college credits in a really great way, and had worked in the library. And just, Mary is the kindest soul, because you need a hug, she'll give it to you. And she's just greeted me and been so kind to me since the day I walked into the building. Thank you for that. Happy retirement. Congratulations. Tracy Latak was not able to be with us this evening, but she is a teaching assistant and has just under 7 years of time with the district. And she has come back to substitute for us, and she comes in all the time, really helps us out in some tight pinches, and she'll do just about anything for us. So we're really grateful for her. Congratulations to Tracy. Becky McLaughlin was one of our clerical folks. She most recently was in our counseling office. She had 19.11 years, not just under 20, and she also comes back to sub for us, and we're really grateful for that because she's helped everybody in the transition. There's a lot of information in our clerical folks' brains that just does not pass along quickly, so we're grateful that she's been able to help us out even in her retirement. Thanks to Becky. Jim Petrella. Jim's one of our school counselors, 30.4 years of time with us. That's a long time, Jim. Took me a little while to get up here. Jim is just a counselor extraordinaire, and in the last handful of years has been the leader of our county counselor group as well, and that expertise has just been invaluable both to us and the group. Jim is thoughtful and supportive and kind to all of his students, and he's always ready to go along with my, well, what if we did this, and what if we did that, and maybe we'll ask the teacher to help us out here and there. It's all about what can we do for students. So thank you, Jim, and I wish you the absolute best in your retirement.
Congratulations.
And our last high school retiree, Kathy Strope. Come on up, Kathy. She did leave us a few months ago, but she was a math teacher of ours for 27.4 years. And your leadership in the math department was amazing. And not only that, but you coach and you support our students in so many ways, and we thank you for that. And she even was both our tennis sectionals coach, and they did so well. That was amazing. Yeah. Your daughter and your husband are here to see what a great job you've done, and we just wish you the best in your retirement. We're so grateful that you still come back and help us out with some things. Thank you, Kathy. And that's what 182 years looks like. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Paul Brissett to present the Maintenance Department retirements.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start with Ray Stone this evening. Come on up, Ray. Ray started working for the school district in 1986 as a substitute cleaner at the high school. Ray worked his way to Millard Hawk Junior High, and when the middle school was built in 1992, he was promoted to the night lead cleaner there. In 1999, Ray decided to pursue a career in truck driving and left the district. Ray returned to Central Square Schools in 2016 to be the night lead cleaner at the middle school once again. Ray oversaw the team at the middle school on the second shift until deciding that he would be best fit working at the high school as a custodial worker. Ray was a great part of the team there and was someone we could always count on, especially when it came to taking overtime. Thank you, Ray. Ray spent his last couple of months assisting at Hastings Mallory Elementary as we finished making building repairs, painting, and cleaning. Ray was a big help, and the building looks great. Ray took a couple of our newer employees who went up there, and Ray groomed them, taught them how to paint, taught them how to clean. He's done a great job, excellent job. So district, thanks for coming back, and thanks you for your last 8 years of service and dedication. Enjoy your next chapter. Thank you.
And when you decide to come back, we'll welcome you back.
My second retiree tonight is Brenda Lyons. Brenda started her career with Central Square working for food service. Brenda received deliveries and delivered food to all the school buildings. Brenda is an outgoing person, and I can say without a doubt, everyone knows Brenda. During the summer, Brenda would come work for the maintenance center working on our summer spruce crew. She would spend her summers painting and beautifying our buildings. Brenda left her position in food service to come work for the maintenance center in 2009. She started working as a custodian at the high school and then moved to CSI. The opportunity presented itself, so she took the custodial maintenance position, custodial messenger position in the ship and receiving department. Brenda is a very hard worker and was like the mother hen of the department. Brenda mentored many employees and would always help out wherever needed. She was pulled from her position many times over the years to go help in the schools when we were shorthanded. When Brenda was given an assignment, she would stop at nothing to get that assignment completed. Brenda was always very flexible and was truly an asset to the school district. Thank you so much for your 22.7 years of service. My last retiree this evening is Joe Nesbitt. I tried hard to get Joe to come here. Joe has a little bit of stage fright, so he would not come up here, but I tried hard to get him up here. Joe started working for the school district when the middle school was built as well. Joe stayed at the middle school for about 7 years before taking a position on the grounds crew. Joe worked a couple of years setting fields, mowing lawns, and removing snow until the opportunity to become a lead custodian became available. Joe applied for the Millard Hawk lead custodian position and was a successful candidate. Joe spent the last 22 years of service working as a lead custodian at Millard Hawk. Joe has done a great job for the school district, and you could always count on his building being neat and clean. Joe and I would speak daily, and most of the time we would speak several times during the day. Many days, Joe was the first person I spoke to in the morning, and that was around 6 a.m., and usually the last person I spoke before I left, too. Joe made sure he was on top of everything in the building, and was evident by the amount of supplies I found when he left that there was no way Millard Hawk was going to be short on anything. Joe and I work great together. We sure do miss him here at the maintenance center. We thank him for his 30.1 years of service. I would like now to introduce our food service director, Amy Kettler.
My first retiree, Betty Fellows. For Betty, being the lunch lady was more than just a job. Betty lovingly prepared thousands of meals and served generations of students over the last 30.8 years. Whether it be at an elementary school, the middle school, or Paul V. Moore, she was a comforting presence in the kitchen. Her smiling face greeted each child and staff member with warmth and kindness. Betty, your efforts nourish not only minds and bodies, but also our spirits. You've been an integral part of our school family, and your absence will surely be missed. Thank you for your years of dedicated service and commitment to the children of Central Square School District, and thank you for all that you have done for the Child Nutrition Department. Congratulations on your retirement. You've earned it. Good. We'd love to have you. My next retiree is Sandra Peck. Sandra Peck was 13.1 years with food service. Today is bittersweet that we say thank you to Sandy for more than the 13 years. Though Sandy started out at Central Square Middle School, she spent most of her years at A.A. Cole Elementary. While there, Sandy showed patience with her nurturing spirit and genuine care and compassion for each and every child who walked through her line, from the shyest of kindergartners to the most spirited fifth grader. Sandy made it her mission to ensure each child was provided a healthy, nutritious meal with love and understanding. With her warm smile and reassuring words, Sandy went above and beyond to ensure that every child felt special and understood. Sandy was not only committed to the children, but was a dedicated team member of the Child Nutrition Program. Though you were retiring from your role as a lunch lady, your love and kindness will live in the memories and hearts of those who have had the privilege of knowing you. Thank you for your service and touching the lives of children with your kindness and care. May the next chapter bring you joy and relaxation. Congratulations on your retirement. And next, Mr. Colabufo, if you'd like to do transportation.
John Pierce came to the district as our transportation supervisor on May 15, 2017. Being a transportation supervisor for a district that spans over 200 square miles would be a daunting task for anyone. Yet Johnny has put everything into making sure that our students are safely transported to and from school every day. I remember the interview. It was one of my first big interviews becoming superintendent. There were some other good, really strong candidates, but John just blew everybody away, including, at the time, the bus driver union president. When he left the room, we were just in awe, because you could just tell that it just permeated out of him how much the excitement that he had and just the safety of our students in busing, and it was a job that he lived. John has done a wonderful job communicating with me at all hours. For each time a bus had a fender bender, he kept me informed, made sure that he told me every single parent was called, that the EMTs looked at all the kids, even though we knew based on just it was a fender bender, he went through all the proper protocols. John played a key role during the winter months. So for those of you that don't know, the way that it works, usually 5 months out of the year, we got very lucky this year, but usually, it's the only year, usually it starts in beginning of November and it goes until April, beginning of April. I start my communication with John Pierce and Paul Brissett at 3:30. It used to be 3, but then they made me go to 3:30 because I don't sleep during those nights. But John would be connecting with all of the town supervisors, and there's so many. How many? I mean, 7, 8, so many town supervisors that span our district, and the plow crews, and he would be looking at the radar, I would be looking at the radar, because we had to make a decision. And this is just a testament to how much he cares about his drivers, because he said, Tom, this is the drop dead time to be able to close or call a 2-hour delay for the buses to run, but this is when we would be putting our drivers in harm's way. So we need to make the call even earlier. And so that's just the kind of person that John, it wasn't just the students, but it was also looking for his drivers and his bus monitors. Again, John and Paul played a key role with that. When we found out that they extended the salary cap for retirees for ERA and TRA, the first thing I did was put John right on the spot in a cabinet meeting to say, John, you could go one more year and just be a per diem and actually save the district money, because you'd be retired. We wouldn't be paying for your health insurance anymore. So of course, he had to talk to his wife about it, but he literally that day came in, shook my hand and said, I'll go another year. So he's retiring, but not really. So I'm very, very happy about this, because for all of you know in the news and whatnot with the electric bus mandate and eventually school districts are going to have to go that route. They haven't changed the mandate. John has played a key role on our team with looking at the pricing, looking at the working with TransFinder, working with different companies to try to help us navigate this. So the fact that we'll have John for one more year it's a godsend, and I thank you so much. Johnny Pierce. And now Maureen is at ASBO conference, so she could not be here. So I have the honor of saying a few words about Joanne Brandt. Joanne Brandt, AKA JB, as everyone refers to her as. It took me the first 6 months of me being here 9 years ago to figure out JB was Joanne Brandt, but I figured it out. She came into the district as a substitute from 1998 through 1999. Then she was hired as a TA at Brewerton Elementary from 99 to 2011. She was appointed to the secretary to the school business manager in 2011. She is Maureen Ladd's better half, as Maureen has put it, and has assisted Maureen for many years. She is responsible for the budget presentations that the board enjoys every meeting. She is the, oh yeah, pause for a laughter, Maureen. The brains behind the district safety committee, the nurses' requirements, the internal claims auditing, and much, much more. Joanne is great at keeping salespeople away from Maureen. Maureen also apologized if there are any vendors in the audience, but great job to JB, she said. If she doesn't know why you're calling, you're not getting Maureen. It's fantastic. She's a key part of the business office and is going to be greatly missed. I know when she gave Maureen the news, Maureen came in and it looked like Maureen's dog had died. She was so sad, and she told me that she tried, but that JB was going to be retiring. So that, JB, I just wanted to know, you're not only, is she your direct supervisor, but she's obviously a very, very close friend of yours. Joanne would make Maureen coffee every single day. Pearl, every day. You see that? I'm just saying. I haven't gotten one yet, but that's okay. That's all right. And again, Maureen just wanted to say, Joanne, that there's many people that's been part of her life at work and her personal life, and you are so very special to her. Joanne Brandt.
do some questions, I guess. There you go. The good news is I'm not presenting. I don't present, and I don't want to follow kids, dogs, or retirees. ever. Everything's good. Yeah, that's good. Grinding it out. Tired enough.
Did you have protein balls today?
So that's great.
You getting some? Yeah, so that mindset. Pick them up. Oh no, we said it. We're gonna have to bite the bullet. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I'm gonna go tell them that the school will help you. Yeah, Regents.
I met with the idea of the Anthony was an awful quick piece. Literally, I was just
Oh my gosh.
you'll hear highlights of them doing something.
They started when I was in school. So I didn't have, I guess did not have
And we already came in.
Fred does earth science, some geology.
Is this on? Yep.
We're closer than anything.
I'm literally my house.
Yes, you are. And we were talking about, I was talking to some of my job people about that. They said they wouldn't bring you guys in. I said, well, it doesn't matter because we teach skills. We don't teach for them to come to work for you. We teach skills for it all. So you give me some other skill-based things, and we'll just build them into some of the curriculums. If not, you want all of them that work. And you get what you get, and you'll be happy. So they kind of like. We're just gonna know the level that you want. And they don't know it's just right. We're gonna retrain them because no one's going in and going to be allowed to touch a $500,000 piece of equipment without years. Years of training. Yes, exactly.
I saw you about that. I'll let you know that. Yeah, just so that you guys know the first possible things coming your way.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I think our numbers out. This will probably come up. Like usually we have 800. This year we had almost 1,800. Like, yeah. And can we build for it? Yes, but our entire budget next year is based off the 800 kids. I don't have room. No, yeah. Yeah. And we are sort of, we're at that point. So, but it's also, I think the prior year billing number is going to have to, we're going to have to do something different because we're just in a bad place when we have a budget for 800 and we have 1,200 requests. That's just the reality of how we do it. Mike is awesome. Mike is great. Yeah, always. I'm glad the kids are doing great. Huh? No. I gotta eat with Becky tonight. I promised her.
Well, good. Take her some.
I take her. That's like bringing flowers home from a funeral and saying,
Here, honey, here's some cake.
Where have you been? Oh, I've been to a funeral. Here's some flowers.
The good news is that this is in my
Cake.
backyard.
That's the only reason I'm on board. It's because of the cake.
However long it takes us, I'm not getting home late. I'm just getting home.
This meeting, we do the retirees, and then the art stuff. I always, it's my two favorite meetings.
Absolutely.
No cake, Ken?
No. Trying to lose. I gained my winter 12 pounds.
I'm still working at COVID.
Don't worry, I gained your winter 12 pounds too.
I still got the COVID-19.
19, 20, 21, 22.
Right.
Deal.
I didn't know John was retiring.
Huh?
I didn't know John was retiring.
You want to call it that? Yep.
So I just saw it here.
No, it's good. This mic.
Let's rock and roll.
Chris, whatever her name is.
Right? Right, Tom?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again one more time to all the retirees.
More than welcome to stay.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody's running out.
As Steve just said, everyone's welcome to stay. But we are going to get the rest of the meeting going, so we'll move on with our final presentation of the night. So I'd like to invite Chris Todd, the City BOCES Superintendent, District Superintendent for City BOCES, to speak on these CTE programs and how City is preparing for Micron.
So I would like to first say, and when you hit the button, it turns green. I'd like to thank Chris. I literally just called him, I believe Friday, asked him if he could come to a board meeting. We had some parents directly contacting some of our board members, which they're elected officials, normal, regarding some of the students' preferred CTE pathways that their children weren't able to get into. So the board just thought it'd be a good opportunity to have Chris here, let the community know, let the parents know that we're all working for the same thing. So Chris was very gracious to be able to come here and kind of give us some of those answers and a little bit of a timeline. Chris, floor is yours.
Yeah. I only have 68 slides. No, I have none. It was Friday. So the hardest thing that we do as educators is telling young people no, right? It's awful when we tell kids no because there isn't any more seats in AP biology. It's terrible when there's not another jersey for an athletic team. But what we're experiencing right now at the BOCES is almost unprecedented because we see everybody else's enrollments are going down in the county. Ours are skyrocketing, which they have been creeping, but whatever happened this year, it went from, we basically we had 800 students in CTE, right? That doesn't count alternative ed, it doesn't count our special needs programs. So 800 is sort of where we set it thinking, okay, we can get a few more. We can take probably 150 in, but not all in the same programs, right? We're just kind of spreading them all out. We got almost 1,300 requests, which is just not something that any of us were prepared for. But we are doing some things. The bad thing and the good thing about this meeting is that once we realized we had a good problem, but the problem was so terrible because you got to tell kids, like, there's no room at the inn, it gave us a little bit of time to see how we can mitigate the damages on not having some of these programs for kids. Now, the bad timing about this meeting is that I don't meet with the superintendents until Wednesday, so I prefer not to unpack it here with all of you before I unpack it with them, because that would be a political nightmare for me, to be honest. So I just want you to know, like it's heard. So like we may have room in some programs, but we don't have room in welding. We haven't had room in welding in 3 years. So we're looking at possibly opening up another section of welding, which means we're going to move some program that's presently on campus off of campus and try to make space for other programming. And like I said, without getting into all the details, the reason we're able to do that this year is because this was the first year that class assignments and students were loaded into what they wanted for coursework this early. So I always know my numbers in the spring because I get a final request form and it says CTE students. Like Central Square, it might say 180 or 175 or 150. I have no idea what program they're going into. All I know is that that's the number. And then historically, and this is 12 years for me, it feels like 12 years for me. COVID really made me tired a little bit, but I'm getting my groove back. So we would have a number, but the districts didn't have to put into the system until later. So the classes weren't even put together until late July, early to mid-August. And then everybody was told whether they got their choice or they didn't get their choice. Truthfully, I want to thank the counselors, and I want to thank any principals that may or may not have been involved in the system that they did this year. It's still not perfect. Ugh. It's messy, right? Change is messy. But it's better because at least now we know about how many kids, and then either we can do two things, and this is what we're doing. We're either allowing for new plans to be made for those young people who are not getting their first choice. The other thing is it allows us to scramble and see if we can make something possible. And saying that we're going to make it happen, I cannot say that. But we have at least 3 programs that are bursting at the seams that we need to see if we can make some alterations. And if we can pull it off, great. If we can't, we also know we have a plan moving into the future. there. It's been a tough spring. And what we're going to do after I unpack it with the superintendents and I can tell them they can release it to the world, I'll let Tom come back and say, this is what they're going to try to do. Because what we're going to try to do we're not going to try to expand our campus. It's already going to be overstuffed. We're looking for outside space. As Tom knows, I'm always asking for space in districts because there's lots of program that we do that we don't need a special space. I could put digital media or cybersecurity anywhere. The problem is that even though your populations are shrinking, it doesn't mean the number of services and the number of needs provided to all of your students don't take up a significant amount more of space. So that's a misnomer when people say, oh, you got so fewer kids. I'll be like, yeah, but I also had to hire this person and this person and this person and this person to be able to provide for them. And those take up space. So long story long is we are on what happened right now with the sheer numbers. We're going to do everything we can to try to figure it out. And then we're also working as a sidebar, we're working on some skilled programming that even though the BOCES might run it for you and you might be able to pay like the tuition and get reimbursement on it, it's not something that needs to happen at BOCES. Perfect example is pathways to apprenticeships. Tom brought it up in our conversation about IBEW, and I'm like, yeah, I said, I have a meeting. So I had a meeting. I called Alan, the business manager, who, by the way, is the most responsive person on the planet when you call him. We set up a meeting immediately. And so I met with him, and the curriculum for Pathways to Apprenticeship is built. And it was built by Syracuse City School District in conjunction with the IBEW. What it does is it does a skill base that allows them to be ready to go into an apprenticeship. And their apprenticeship, our local apprenticeship is something that they should be proud of. Everybody says an apprenticeship is 5 years. Well, not always. So a lot of their people are getting out of their apprenticeship and covering all the coursework in about 4. And the reason that I'm thinking that may be something that we may want to explore as a region and as a county is because that doesn't limit a space and seats at some cooperative entity in Mexico. We can do that anywhere. And I think we're all going to face the same types of questions as we move forward because we do have to answer to our kids in our communities. We do have to say, why does our course catalog look exactly the same except for 4 classes as it did 15 years ago? And some of that is, so tradition is great in family and in baseball. Tradition in educational institutions is the enemy of innovation. And we're all about to get ready to be stripped from that as the Blue Ribbon Commission comes out with their recommendations as to what a graduate looks like. All of the things we always wanted to do, many of them we're going to be able to do, and those will be unpacked throughout this calendar year. I'd be happy to just stop now and take questions, and if you have concerns, let me have them.
I guess I'll speak first. Thank you so much for, spur of the moment coming in to talk to us. I'm not sure, I assume Tom told you that one of the reasons we wanted to talk and hear more from you was because of, in light of the future that's supposedly coming with Micron. We have more and more and more students that are chomping at the bit. We also have a very well-known and well-advertised gap in the trades that, we've been encouraging students to go, consider these ulterior pathways. And when I started on the board, I remember Tom talking about Central Square had historically had a cap on CTE students, and we wanted to get rid of that. And I remember you advocating for that as well. And, everyone, there's trades out there, there's great futures out there for these students, let's push it. And so when we got the email saying, that we were getting limited numbers, which understandably, I understand your predicament, but, the example that was provided was with one particular program where we were going to be limited to 10 students. There was already 10 students in Central Square enrolled in that. And so I hear, you'd get numbers, but you wouldn't get programs. And I guess I just would like to know a little bit more in terms of the planning that takes place at BOCES, knowing that we have 10 students that are going to have to finish that second program, how would it happen that would be the limited number, so then we'd have no new students, so that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So if you could just expand upon that a little bit.
Yeah, so somebody screwed up, right? Like, I'm not gonna say that they didn't. If they knew it was going to be down to 10 and you had 10 juniors, I do know that they moved some kids. You got a couple more juniors, but cat out of the bag, one of the programs we're trying to virtually double and see if we can do it within the next 2 weeks, so we can have all of the parents and kids that might be here or at Oswego or someplace else who only wanted electrical tech. They don't want to do anything else, at CTE at BOCES. So what they do, they rebuild schedules for them here. So I have a very limited window of time to pull something out of the hat. That's the number one program we're looking at because we always knew there was limitations on welding. We're also trying to expand welding. But we also knew that was historic. This one came out of the blue.
And it came out of the blue largely because of what's coming, right? And so forecasting for the future, obviously you've touched on it, but hopefully will be anticipated movement in those departments, or at least, bonus room available in those programs, because I can only imagine our numbers are going to go up for the next 5 years with the number of students that want to go into the electrical programs.
Right, and so my challenge is, I'm going to say, yeah, there's definitely going to be, but eventually that too will become full. So my challenge is always going to be back to districts to say, if you have a space here and you are willing to have Phoenix as a partner to send 5 kids, we can run a program here. You can get it to be aidable. You can get reimbursed for that portion of their education, as long as, and we'll actually find the teacher, even though you guys know that's the hardest thing to find. We can do that regionalized, not centralized at a location. This is one of those programs that if I have a lab space and they can solder, they can do this program because I can bring the equipment in for that to happen. Like I said, I think we're all going to face the same things because all of our communities are going to question how and why are we prioritizing during the budget process when we know that this is, yes, something traditionally we had always done, but this is where we're going. Challenge.
And as a side note, not related to the things that we know currently, but, you don't know what you don't know. And so I guess I would love to hear a little bit more about what you're doing in terms of anticipating what other programs this, giant elephant in the room that's coming to this area. And we want our students to be successful. We're pushing trades, not pushing it, but encouraging it for the students that it fits for. Is there new programming, being considered and developed in anticipation of this?
So no, there isn't any new programming being developed because we have to, we can have that conversation, but we have to be very delicate because when we build a program in isolation from our communities, when the watering hole gets dry, the animals look at each other differently. And when people are running out of kids, and some of their best kids now want to leave their high schools and go someplace else because that's where their desire is, we get pretty provincial as communities. So if I continue to do that without basically getting the buy-in on the front end from all of the communities, districts still have the ability to say no. You know, just because I build it, I'm going to say something really nice about Tom, and he deserves it this time. He stopped saying no and allowed kids to follow a pathway that was historically capped. So I think that's the reason. I think logistics, 100%. If you understand logistics and how to get things from A to B, and you don't have to go get a 4-year college degree, you will have work in Central New York forever and ever and ever. And I think maintenance mechanics at the very highest levels will be able to work anywhere at a very, very high rate. So those are the two areas. If you ask me what I want, those are the two I want.
That's gonna be the difficult thing, is that at some point, when we have all of these industries following at the heels of Micron, that all the different BOCES are going to have to look at that and say, all right, looking at our existing programs, then there's some really difficult conversations to have to be had in public to say that some of the programs, at the very best, it's a living wage. It's below the minimum wage,
100%,
living wage.
Tom.
For some of
100%.
those programs, even though they may be popular. And I don't even want to name any of those programs right now because I don't want it to insult students or families. But it's going to come to a point if we're saying that, yes, they may want to do something that a family member above them had went into, but looking at the living wage of that program, now knowing the opportunities for lots of people, especially females in the trades, and you look what Micron has to offer and all these other industries, looking at some of the programs at BOCES and then just evolving based on what's out there.
Right. So and some of it's going to have to be decentralized from BOCES. Some of it's going to have to be done by you all. Right. Like the idea of what people think is attractive and is the hot new thing can be done in-house. It's just a really difficult conversation to have because you have to make the choice to say, this is where I'm spending my resources and my political capital because I think this is the way to go.
It's so hard because, like you were saying, we were having a steady decline. Now we've leveled off, but I've been in so many different meetings with Mackney and with Al Sturpey and with it's myself, Phoenix, North Syracuse, and Liverpool, because they were saying that they were going to be the most impacted based on the proximity to the Clay site. And they were saying that the one district that potentially has the ability to become one of the largest school districts in the region is actually Central Square.
Yeah.
They were saying, projecting numbers between 7 and 15 years of 3,500 more students. That's doubling what we're at right now. So when you look at available space that we have like CSI, where we could start to figure, if it wasn't for Micron, we could say, oh, we can do some cool things there and build our own programs. It's going to come to that space because we're going to be using all of our available space. So it's relying on city BOCES then to look for industrial sites to say, all right, we're expanding. That's the hard part for me, to find the space even here.
Yeah, because Chris, how many meetings have you attended with Micron in the future? Have you attended any meetings?
Yeah, in fact, this year, about half, because they have them on Tuesdays. So, like, I have a Thursday meeting all afternoon at OCC that is all of the innovative education stakeholder people. And
so what's been the results of that? I mean, what's your future planning for that?
I'm waiting to get more. I don't want them to give me curriculum. I want them to give me a very hard list of specific skills so we can build a curriculum throughout many of the programs because there's so many different jobs. We're still waiting for sort of that granular gift to say, this is what they need before we get them, because we're going to retrain them. So we are talking about it.
So OCC's program, nothing of that sort has been in alignment for you?
Oh, I think so, very much. But I'm saying,
So here's my point, is that if we're not planning, right, and if we're not getting all the information, you know, because there's still a question of whether or not it's going to happen and how it's not going to happen. It's going to happen.
it's going to happen.
Okay, next year, National Grid, gas company, it started, all the engineering, everything's going, they're going to have their own power plant. This is going to happen. So we can either wait and be reactive, or we can be proactive. And fundamentally, right, because you work with all the superintendents within the district, our population is not declining anymore, right? We are now the largest district under your purview, right? Central Square?
Within 30 kids, yeah.
Yeah, okay, right? It's over $10 million of our budget is earmarked for BOCES. So what my ask for you is that we get out of being reactive and start talking about being proactive. What is the requirements going to be for city BOCES 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Because there is a freight train coming, okay? And if we allow our students to have the opportunity to be part of what Micron and the two huge companies that are coming in and support them from Taiwan, it is, I think all the information's out there. The President of the United States was in our town talking about this. So either we wait for somebody to do it for us, which I don't think that's going to happen. We can rely on Sturpey, we can rely on them, but things are going to have to change fundamentally in how what you do and what we do. And if we're not all together and we don't have a master plan as far as what's going to be offered, what's the pathways, right? Because what I've been listening to is we're not quite in alignment with our pathways, your largest district, and what you're offering. There's fundamental misunderstanding of what your requirements, what the students, there's a lot of ifs in what you've been talking about, and to me, those need to be eliminated. If the process isn't right, let's fix the process. If we have shortcomings, let's go. Because what I don't want to hear as a board member is you're not providing the opportunity that my child needs to get as a student within your district, right? We've heard it. That's why you're here. It's not. It needs to be thought out, planned out. Take off what are we doing next week hat and start looking and forecasting 3, 5, 10 years from now. Because if we're asking for what's empty with space, to me, all your trades, so whether it's building automation, HVAC tech, welding, plumbing, construction, all of it is going to be affected, right? I've heard numbers of 68,000 jobs are going to be required as part of this. I'd like to have all the folks within our district have a great opportunity to come up through, be educated, and to be part of it. That's my 2 cents on it.
It's more than 2, it's good. Because it leads me into sometime here in the summer or the fall, I'm going to come to you and talk to you about just what you said. And it's not going to be the easiest conversation about regionalization. Regionalization is not closing schools. Regionalization is looking at the people that are around you. They don't have to be in this county. They can be Cicero, North Syracuse, or they can be anybody. What other opportunities can be provided by a larger, greater good? That's the next conversation that's happening. In fact, it's happening on Monday at the Board of Regents meeting in the morning, and I'm going to be required to come back and have a conversation with you all about it. I'm going to start with the superintendents. But that's exactly the conversation because it allows for longer term planning than getting requests in March and trying to meet everybody's needs by June. So like the fundamental change is going to be for us to change and shift our thought pattern as to what's the cooperative look like, which is BOCES, but what is also some opportunities with our neighbors that we haven't taken advantage of that we need to start looking at. I don't know the details of it yet. I know parts of it because obviously I'm going to have to go to the meeting on Monday, but I will be back for that very conversation and you hold me to it.
I don't think we have a choice to holding you to it. Because to me, throughout my career, I've been involved in a lot of organizational development, and I don't think we're on the correct path here. I really don't. I think we need to have an understanding. I think all the information basically is out there. There isn't anything that is going to be required of the facility that we don't already know and don't already support. And it really getting everybody together with community leaders, unions, trades folks. I mean, I just talked to Mike Hart. He can't get anybody to help. There's no more plumbers. Just now.
So
Right.
I'd like to add my 2 cents, and I'll keep it closer to 2 cents in the interest of time. But what I've heard from what you've stated to us so far is 3 years of welding, exploding at the seams, and denying people the opportunity to get that education so they can go on to that trade. We're now in a position with electrical shortcomings. We all know the trades are exploding, and we're encouraging it for our students. But what I've heard is there's no plan in place today to afford that opportunity with the growth that we can project. So my ask, if you're presenting, that you'll be able to come back to us and with a better plan, and whether it's a few months or before school year, if it's a process that's broken as far as selection and placement and opportunity, then we have to fix that because it's a process, and process can be fixed. And there absolutely has to be a plan for us to project what's coming for our students and present the opportunity to them so that they can move on to the Mike Harts of the world who want employees. And we have students that want to learn how to be that employee, but we do not have a pathway in place today for them to achieve that. We have to solve for it.
You're right. And there's ways to do it. It's going to be a big change on how we deal with 9th graders and 10th graders and do a needs assessment and a want so that we can project. And then I'm going to run into space issues, but we're going to do everything we can to work around some of the space issues because I can't have a capital project. That's a 10-year process with everybody voting, and it hits your budgets hard. What I can do is I can lease private space, and if I can amortize it out over a 10-year lease, and I can promise them after the 10 years, I'll up it again for another 10 years, then I can get a rate on a monthly basis and an annual basis that makes it acceptable for me to get into industrial space.
Then let's solve it for how we can do it.
Fair.
Chris, is it possible that we can, partner with Micron? I've been to so many meetings, and they're talking about like the investments that they're making with the clean rooms and whatnot. If Micron and these other, I saw that, the article about the 2 Taiwan industries, but there's gonna be so many other huge industries coming in. Is there any way, starting with Micron, to partner with them that they can have some skin in the game? Because forget about the Mike Harts of the world. I mean, don't forget about the Mike Harts, but also
Right.
Micron, they have they're not going to be able to fill these jobs. Right. And so to be able to have, you did, and I thank you, you brought them in months ago. I think it was last year. You brought the person from Micron to a Chiefs meeting. But to just talk to them with the resources that they have about some of these spaces, because we could be giving them a direct pipeline.
100%, and when it's our time, the other thing that we don't talk about in public space is a public meeting, but I'm going to say it anyway, is Oswego County didn't put any skin in the game. Onondaga County put skin in the game. When I say skin, money. So the money reciprocation goes back to who put money and skin in the game. What we are doing is working through SUNY Oswego to put thought and workers in the game. We became a work-ready community, the first county in the Northeast to be a work-ready county through work keys. There's no other. So when other businesses want to come here, they can look and say, who's a work-ready community? Oswego County is a work-ready community because we made that happen. We're going to see the fruits of that labor down the road.
I think, and to piggyback off what Tom's saying is, you know, I mean, they're buying up space left and right already, you know, for them to know that they're going to need 20, 30, 40,000 workers, and they've got you coming and saying, you know, I teach trades, I teach electrical engineering, and I've got 57 kids that I had to turn down, you know, a slot for in our programming that would be ready to work for you in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. And I had to turn them down because I don't have any space. If you can help me solve this problem, we could try to work something out. I mean, the nursing schools all do it, right? You go to nursing school there, you got to work there for 2 years
Sure.
afterwards. And so, you know, like whatever. There's got to be some kind of creative, think outside the box type of networking going on.
We
to
won't
solve it.
stop. We won't stop. I will tell you that we're in the queue on the conversation. We're not even close to the front of the line yet, but they know what our ask is. They know what our ask is. Novella's put skin in the game for us. We're doing a $1.3 million project to open up an advanced manufacturing lab that will be used by multiple programs on the campus from what used to be an adult ed space. That happened. That'll be done and ready to roll, possibly even by the fall. So, like, we have other businesses that are putting skin in the game. And we ask, because we got a just shy of a $700,000 grant. And they came up, businesses in Oswego County came up with $600,000 to match. So
That's great. That's exactly the type of thinking that we need here. But I feel like we need it yesterday. And so in terms of, you know, moving it forward, I get the queue and I get all of that stuff. But I mean, I guess what can, you know, if we need a letter from the Board of Education, if you know, like what more can we be doing to help move us up in the queue? Because from what I was told, you know, we were hearing was us, Liverpool, you know, there was 4 districts that were invited to all of these meetings. And are we the only Oswego County one?
no,
But-
Phoenix.
Okay, Phoenix. So 2 of them, half of them are in Oswego County. So if I'm Micron, those 2 BOCES programs are my feeder, right? So you would think that that would somehow move us up in some way, shape, or form, especially if you're coming to them saying, look, you're not here yet. You don't have bricks on the ground yet. But these students that are going to come through this program that I'm saying no to won't be ready for 2 years anyway, 2 or 3 years anyway. So, you know, it's the same conversation with them. You know, you don't want to wait until your building's built because you can't start training your employees that day, right? You want them starting to get trained now.
Yeah,
Like,
and we're having those conversations. You know what you could do as a community? Show me, so I can say to them, they are really committed to this because look at how they have changed their course selection. Look at the opportunities they now are offering that before they didn't. That's a winner for us in the room to say, it's not just when they get to be juniors and seniors. Like, we're giving them more opportunity in 8th grade. We're giving them more opportunity in 9th and 10th so what's going to happen with the way that the credits go? You're going to be getting an incredible amount of freedom to allow for this to happen. And it will be easier for you to transition into that sort of course selection process that right now you're limited by Part 100 and 22 credits and you got to have this many in this and this many in this. That's going to lessen. But that's the local job is to say, look what we've already done. So we're going to be fighting all for the same teachers. You all know that, right? All of us.
which is why we ideally would want to be on the front end of that, you know, and be thinking outside the box now to be able to get the people that we may not have a position for in the way that we want to have a position for them next year, but once we have them hired,
Yes.
they could teach math or whatever it is that they need to teach, you know, a tech program or something like that, with the forecasting thought of in 2 years, we're going to have our own pre-electrical engineering kind of programming here to prepare ninth graders or 10th graders who have an interest in the trades, or a generalized, here's, Business 101, here's Trades 101 as a course for any of you students that think you're going to be interested in that. And you can take that instead of taking Business 101 as an elective, and that's likely going to be much more helpful to those students who think they're going to be interested in the trades to figure out what trade they want to be in. That kind of stuff, and then that teacher kind of just moves over to the programming that we were already forecasting building. And you can talk about that stuff during the interviews and stuff, and I know a lot of the people that we interview have ideas about this stuff, and then they end up, teaching a tech course, on what are the motor, the advanced woodworking or something like that, but they have ideas about other things, not in this district, but other districts as well, and then they kind of just end up teaching one thing. I feel like we need to be encouraging that more often, even harnessing the passions that some of our teachers that we already have that may not fit within the little class that they're teaching already.
Yeah,
So-
because to me, you've got Tom, and you've got all those folks sitting over there that are ready to go to solve this. But I think what we need from you is a clear outline of where we're going, and let them get you there, right? Have a clear direction of how this is going to impact everybody that comes underneath your umbrella, Chris, and let these folks go. They'll figure it out. They're awesome. They will figure it out. Okay?
They are awesome.
Well, and they are, what you're seeing is that last meeting, we just had our counselors in to start, it starts in 8th grade now. It starts in 8th grade, is what's your pathway gonna be? And what happens is that we're coaching them, we're talking to the students, we're getting them on the pathway, then the door shuts. Now what are we gonna do? Right. That door's gotta be open. Can't
Chris,
have it.
I definitely want.
Historically, how many kids from this district were not allowed to get into program?
Really?
I don't know that historically would be the best way for us to look at this. We have to plan
No, it
for
never
what's coming.
happened.
I
Correct.
think the reason you're
it's here now.
yeah, is because this is one of the first times that it's happened, but it's happened now, and we're not even at the bubble.
It's like
I mean,
this.
the bubble's coming, and so if we're already
Right.
having this problem,
So we're gonna solve it together, because we're gonna solve it with. So I'm always gonna say I need space and I need professionals. The reason there's waiting lists in special ed, I need space and I need professionals. You give me space, share your professionals, I'll have a program for you. I know we're talking about CTE, but it's the same type of thing. For this, I'm gonna find the space, I'll find the professional. I'm gonna need everybody to be flexible, to say, yeah, we'll change their schedules. Yeah, we'll give them another opportunity to see if they wanna come. That's the type of stuff that will actually stall in places, because they'll say, no, we already have the schedules done. I know Tom's not gonna allow that, and these people aren't gonna allow that to happen, but that's my reality of innovation, is because I will test the status quo in 9 districts, not just 1.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that schedules are going to look vastly different for high schools than they do right now. And I think that kids are going to be coming and going. It's going to be more of the college type experience, because the kids are going to be, like, we just did interviews for a student board rep, and one of the people had mentioned about when they go to BOCES, the student that was going for the board rep for next year had commented that the regular classroom, the student doesn't light up, but she always says when her friend goes to BOCES, she comes back and she feels like that's her niche,
Yeah.
right? And that's her program. I do definitely, and I don't think a lot of people understand, but Chris, you played a key role in Albany for several years of getting different pathways for people to be certified to teach in the tech careers, which is huge. It's literally cut that time in half to get them into classrooms, which I also think that, we're asking you some difficult questions here, but it's also important that everybody knows that you did do that, and you expedited that process, because we have a gap in the teachers that teach those tech classes. So
You couldn't have offered the 211 waiver to your transportation guy if I didn't beat the pavement up and down, up and down. Listen, we always talk about, and we want to address our pressure points. And right now, CTE is our pressure point. There's no doubt about it. It's where the pressure point is. So while the pressure is there, let's attack it. But attacking it, and all those people at the table know the same thing. It's going to make some people here really uncomfortable because you're going to have more kids want to go someplace else to get the skills that they want and that they deserve.
Well, Chris, I'll push back on that a little bit because you just went through our retirement center. There's people that are here dedicated 25, 30, 35 years. They will understand change happens every single day. Within the education system, it's tough. But, you know, as the country song says, the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield, right? We keep looking back. Let's look forward to what's coming, and what's coming is going to change this place. I mean,
That's fair.
You bring it up in my household, my wife goes nuts. She doesn't want it.
In fairness, though,
But
be
it's gonna
prepared.
happen.
But that's
you gotta
fair.
be prepared because when early college came out, right? Yeah. We didn't send students at first years ago because it was a different union president at the time. But the worry from our own teachers was,
I get it.
you're outsourcing us. And so that was something that they rallied around, and teachers, many of them have direct communication with all of you. And for them to think, oh my God, Tom's making a decision, this is our livelihood, it's going to be shrinking it. So to your point, and Chris Todd's point, they're both valid, but they are gonna have some conversations because there are going to be some opportunities we have to rethink the program that we have.
I look at it since my time on the board, in that, you know, we saw graph after graph after graph, right? And the performance of the district. The performance of the district is much better now. And I think there's a direct result because we stopped losing. People are moving here, right? We offer a good opportunity. So it all goes together. It is all together, I think, in that, I mean, I've heard numbers, 15 to 18,000 homes have got to get built. Got to get built. Somebody's got to build them.
2,500 homes every year for the next 15 years is what Mackie said.
Good, it'll help me pay for my new sewer project in Constantia that I'm still paying for, haven't got yet. So, you go ahead.
I was laughing from there.
Oh, well, the reality of it is, and I am playing the hometown card. I stayed here for a reason. My kids went to school here. My daughter is doing well. My son is an amazing human. I could move anywhere. I care. So I've heard you, and I do appreciate the little bit of pushback because it's making me rethink my timeline, and maybe I was being too soft on my timeline.
We appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much.
Yeah. No, and I do have to come back and talk to you guys about regionalization probably in a couple of months. So we'll have that, but Tom will be prepped and we'll have a greater conversation. And this was way the beginning of that conversation, by the way. So I appreciate you guys. All right.
Thanks.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. All right, moving on to item E, personnel. Can I get a motion to approve item E? Motion. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Moving on to item F. We'll take F1 through F10 in its entirety. That's good. Okay. Can I get a motion for F? Motion second. Okay, any discussion of any of those? No? All those in favor? All righty. Item G, so we'll start with Sophia for her last student board member report.
Last one. All right, so on May 21st, we had 21 athletes, senior athletes, make official their decision to continue their sport in college. So congratulations to those seniors. Coming up on June 18th will be the middle school top 99 ceremony, as well as the 8th grade awards, which all board members were invited to attend. And then Wednesday will be our senior fun day for our seniors. We decided to do, the officers and Ms. Driscoll decided to do the senior fun day, which will consist of more like food trucks and like cornhole and like field games, as it was financially more available for a lot of our students, as in the past we did amusement parks and those were kind of difficult to find like staff volunteering for, and the money was tight for a lot of students, and so it wasn't, equipped for everybody. And so we're hoping that this year, with the fun day, inspires, years to come to do that and welcoming all of the seniors. And then Wednesday will also be the senior award night, in which the Board of Education members are also all membered. And then finally, I just wanted to thank everybody here for making this experience so welcoming and impactful in me, and I will take a lot of the lessons that I've learned here with me in my future. So thank you.
Thank you so much for the time you committed to this, Sophia. It's been a pleasure. All right. Does anyone else have anything?
Just that Sophia and I also were on May 16th, Tom, and Sophia and I were over at the Olympics, Special Olympics. Chrissy was there and all her staff. And first time I've ever been, and it was great. Kids had a great time, and a lot of the senior kids and juniors volunteered to help the kids. They had a kid that was with them all day, and it was a nice event.
Yeah, Chrissy Smith and Ryan Oyer and John.
Yeah, it was great.
And June 1st was my Central Square Middle School Fun Run 5K at the stadium. It was amazing. So 2 weeks ago, I only had 75 people that registered, and I ended up with 160. And it was amazing. Everybody seemed to have a great time. I'm already excited to start planning for next year. So between everyone's help, your dad was there too. He helped me as well. So thank you guys for coming and supporting. It was fun.
I did have the pleasure of attending the Top 100 for the high school, and that is a very impressive group of students, including Sophia. So first time that I've gone for the high school, and it was enjoyable to see the talent that we have here in our school.
All right, and turn over to Tom for superintendent's report.
All right, the Central Square Community Service Parade Band, under the direction of Andy Graziano, was made up of 156 student volunteers, middle school and high school performers, who marched and performed in the following recent events. Saturday, May 25th, Fulton Memorial Weekend Parade. Monday, May 27th, Central Square Memorial Day and Constantia North Shore Memorial Day Parade. Saturday, June 1st, Pageant of Bands Parades at Darien Lake. For participating in the parades, the students earn 9 hours of community service. We provided a link for the, for the band short. That's on the website?
It will be once I do.
Excellent. On Friday, May 17 and Saturday, May 18, Central Square students who are involved in the music program earned 98 medals during their auditions for NYSSMA, which is the New York State School Music Association. Ratings were: gold medals, we got 25. Silver, 1. Outstanding, 28. Excellent, 28. Ensemble rating, 8. 8 students chose to do comments only NYSSMA auditions. Opens doors for students in the future to audition and achieve area all-state and conference all-state. Again, we have one of the most recognized fine arts programs around. The high school wind ensemble performed a short concert assembly for the district third graders on May 21st in the high school auditorium. They kicked off this year's beginner band program. On Thursday, May 29th, the music department hosted a recital for students in elementary, middle, and high school who wanted to perform in a small ensemble. The soloistically. Small ensemble or soloistically. They were 6 elementary performances, 4 middle school performances, and 8 high school performances that evening. Middle school band director organized the event. As we near the end of the 23-24 school year, there are 11 concert events scheduled on the calendar that will feature our students from all 4 elementary schools, middle school, and high school. We are very proud of these students and all that they have achieved. So I've hit all of the elementary concerts, and they were wonderful. But I did send the board, I sent all of you a little clip. It was one of the songs from A.A. Cole, because Ron Herney, I thought it was so touching, and everybody was floored in the audience. He went around and he took pictures because it was John Denver's Country Road. Take Me Home, Country Road, yeah. And so when the kids were singing in the huge screen like that up on stage, was all the different parts that make up AA Cole. And so it was timed perfectly. The kids, they were amazing. Just a testament to the students that we have. As you know, our sports, we're going to do a little bit more on that, put more stuff out to you guys, but sports have done a phenomenal job again in the spring. Last time I talked about all of our student athletes that had a 90 or above at the academic award. And again, I worked in many school districts. I've never seen so many of our athletic teams that get that honor, which is an average of 90 or above for the majority of the students on the team. So that's very impressive. Again, I just want to personally thank Sophia Sherman for everything that she has done. Sophia, where are you going next year? Perfect. So you're going to be able to come back and visit, talk to our students. Excellent. And that concludes the superintendent report.
All right. Okay. All right, well, moving on to item H, and we'll do item H in its entirety, H1, H2, H3, H4, and H5. Can I get a motion? Motion and a second? All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Approved, and on to item I, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Okay, second? All righty. Any discussion? All those in favor? All righty. Meeting is adjourned at 7.